Yo, what's the word, chat? So, today we are back with another video, and let's see, we did the big three: liquidity, break of structure, order block. Now, I do want to emphasize, I'm gonna be straight to the point with these videos. Liquidity, break of structure is our bread and butter. Those are the things we need to see, like, off the back, run the fade, right? Everything after this is a continuation confluence, meaning everything on top of liquidity and break of structure is just extra data collection. These are just things that will help us have more conviction in the trade we were going to take. Okay, so today we are going to talk about imbalances and gaps. Now, let's get into it. Let's get our space ready. Gaps slash imbalances are basically a lack of orders in the opposite direction. This can be an abundance of buy orders or an abundance of sell orders in one direction. Shout out Nick Jonas. Alright, I like to say that the stock market likes to reach a state of homeostasis. If you're a biology guy, you know what I'm talking about, right? So if there's an imbalance of just buy orders and we're just moonshotting, at some point price is going to have to rebalance. It has to rebalance. Okay, now we can see this on both sides of the aisle. We can see a bunch of buy orders or we can see a bunch of sell orders. If we see a large sell-off, we know, okay, since there's a lack of buy orders in the different directions, there's going to be a lot of people putting in some orders right there for buys, potential buys. Okay, so we need to keep that in mind. Why is this beneficial? Okay, so we know when these gaps eventually get filled, this leaves room for price to rebalance and continue going in the direction it was originally going. Now, I do want to emphasize, again, like every single confluence that I am mentioning to you, higher time frame will hold the higher power. Again, I want to do the sports example. Somebody who's been playing sports for 4 years is going to be better who's been playing sports for 15 minutes. Get what I'm saying? All right. Dang, I spelled that wrong. Okay, higher time frame, higher power. So, if you see a 4-hour gap, that's going to be way more important than a 1 minute fair value gap. That doesn't mean anything. Now, a fair value gap. Let's get into this. There's multiple types of gaps, and we will get into how to chart them next video. So, a fair value gap is a 3 candlestick pattern, right? So, there's a bullish and there's a bearish fair value gap, right? So, typically in a bullish fair value gap, you see a bunch of buy orders and you'll literally see a gap, okay? So, bullish fair value gap. And then we have our bearish fair value gap. Now, this is quite the opposite when you have a bunch of sell orders and it leaves a lack of orders in the opposite direction. 3 candlestick pattern as well. It'll look something like this. Okay, so for a bullish fair value gap, we want to see the bottom wick of the first candle, the full body of the second candle, and the bottom candle of the third. As you can see, there's a visible gap right here. All right. Now, these don't all necessarily have to be the same color just because it's a bullish for value gap. It's only called a bullish for value gap because there was a bunch of buy orders in this one specific direction because price likely broke structure after a liquidity sweep and left a gap. This is ideally the best type of gap that we'll get, one that occurs after a break of structure. Okay, I will go into this further on entries and specific entries on the charts after this video. Okay, so let's explain a bearish for value gap. Let's get this off the screen. All right. Boom. Something like that. Dang, this candle sucks. Oh my god, this candle sucks. Okay. Okay, in this case, a bearish fair value gap is going to be the bottom wick, right? The bottom wick of the first candle, full body of the second candle, and the top wick of the third. Notice how they both have in common the whole body of the second candle. This is where the whole gap things comes into play because there's a gap between the first bottom wick and the third top wick. This is a bearish for value gap. So we know that price overly sold in this area, so there's an abundance of sell orders and a lack of buy orders in the opposite direction, right? So those are fair value gaps. Now there are different type of gaps. Let's remove this. There are two other gaps that you do need to be aware of. We have new week opening gaps. These occur during the non-tradable hours from Friday close to Sunday open. Now, new week opening gaps are, I want to say they're as good as magnets as liquidity, but not. I would put liquidity as A plus, and I would put new week opening gaps at A minus. Because these are moments where you literally cannot trade from Friday close, you can't trade Saturday, and you can trade Sunday afternoon. But even then, that's Asian session. Ideally, we don't want to be trading Asian session, right? So we want to mark out the close of Friday. You can do 1 to 15-minute candle depending on which trading view version that you have. So we want the close of Friday and the open of Sunday. For me, that will be 3 p.m. PST because I'm in LA. The span of a lifetime of a new week opening gap can range all the way up to a year, but ideally, this is a 5-week type of lifespan, right? This thing has a half-life, if you're into nuclear scientist stuff, I don't know. But this thing has a half-life of 5 weeks. So within a month and 1 week, new week opening gaps hold pressure. They hold weight, okay? So keep this in mind. I will go into this next video as well, right? And then we have new day opening gaps. This is just like a new week opening gap, except it's the new day opening gap, right? So we're going day by day instead of week by week. And you can assume which one holds higher power. Of course, the new week opening gap, because it's higher time frame. Now, we want the close of previous day and open of next day. Alright, so this one's pretty simple. We're just marking out the close of the previous day and the open of the next day. Okay? Now, this has a shelf life of 5 days as well. Actually, let me put that. I'm going to put half-life. I'm not saying these things can't be fulfilled. For example, the new week opening gap, I'm not saying after 5 weeks it's just invalid. I'm saying it just has a half-life. Like, it won't have as much as a pull as it did if we go past 5 weeks, but it is still a valid point of entry, right? So same thing with new day opening gaps. Okay, after 5 days, no, it's not that valid anymore, but this is not invalidating the concept overall. It's just after 5 days, this concept holds a little less weight, but it still holds some weight though. All right, so these, boom, boom, these are both times in where the market is not tradable. The market is open 23 hours and 5 days a week. So for the new day opening gap, it would be that 1 hour that we can't trade that we're marking out. And here it would be that Friday to Sunday that we will be marking out. Next video, I will get into how exactly to do it on the charts. See y'all later, man.